Hey, super legends, superstars, and superheroes. My name's Dr. Dre, but actually without the doctor part. You're tuned in to Hot Hire, which is the #1 place if you're looking to get into your ideal job in double quick time. So today, boom, I've got a special guest. So I've been seeing this woman all over my social media. She's been lighting LinkedIn up. So glad that she's here today. She's got 18 years experience in coaching and mentoring. And she's got her own coaching business, which I'm going to get her to tell you all about. So I want to say a massive, huge welcome to Liz Hamlet. Hey, how are you?
Wow, I'm going to bring you out with me to introduce me to all my events. It's fantastic. Thanks, Dre. It's so nice to be on the show, and we've had a bit of a chat beforehand. So yeah, thanks so much for having me. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Liz Hamlet, otherwise known as the Success Spark, and I'm founder of Spark Succeed, which is a coaching and consulting business. So effectively, I'm a success coach and business mentor, and I help budding entrepreneurs to really get their business launched, help you get that job, that dream job, and really design the life that you want. And I'm also, it's great to be in the other seat in the podcast because I'm also a podcast host. So I host my own show, which is called How to Spark Success, which is stealing the success secrets of savvy business owners and leaders around the globe. So I've had a lot of people from Australia and New Zealand and America and Europe. So it's great to be able to share with you those secrets. And sort of before my Spark Succeed life and the Success Spark life, I am a corporate escapee. So it's great to be on this show, really, to talk a bit about recruitment, because part of my most recent role, I've worked in a number of sectors, so investment banking, worked in the housing sector and travel sectors. And I was sort of quite actively involved as a senior leader in recruitment. I was doing a lot of interviews, you know, also the sort of retention strategy stuff, and designing a program which didn't exist when I joined my last company, which was helping people to realise their career potential. So that was all around interviews. We did mock interviews, and really help people sort of get over that fear, really. And, you know, also I was always being asked to mentor people, and I was sort of naturally coaching my sort of leadership team in there. So it's fantastic to be able to sort of continue that journey, and, you know, also to have a chat with you, Dre, about all things sort of getting great jobs and hot hires, etc. So it's great to be here.
Awesome. So you mentioned that you've got your own podcast, and we were talking earlier, and you said that you've beaten Gary V over in Papua New Guinea.
Yeah, we were talking a bit about, you know, interesting new audiences around the world. So I found out in the last couple of weeks, I think I was in the top 5 of Papua New Guinea, which is amazing. I'm not, I think one of the things that I was talking to someone this week, actually on a Clubhouse room about podcasting, and it was saying you're never really sure who's listening or who's looking at your content. You know, people might not necessarily be liking, but actually that might be opening doors. People might be really interested in hearing what you've got to say. So, you know, don't necessarily rely on the likes on social media to show you whether you've got sort of potentially interested customers.
Hey, super legends, so sorry to interrupt the show. If you do like what you're seeing, please don't forget to like, comment and share. Thank you.
All right, so do you have any, valuable tips that you can share, like either for job seekers, employers, or maybe people that are struggling through like COVID? Because I know that you guys over in England, you've got a plan to come out, so your gyms are open now, shops are open, barbers are open, and
most importantly, pub gardens are open.
Yes, love that.
I mean, in all seriousness, fantastic to see things opening up, and, you know, small businesses, non-essential retail. So, you know, shops, just interesting ice cream shops and, different things. I was down at the coast this weekend, and, we can start traveling more internally of the UK. So it's really great. And I've been trying to support small businesses where we can, obviously buying ice cream and those things, doing my duty for the small businesses. So some of the tips I was sort of thinking about, I want tipped up into the sort of ahead of applying for jobs, before and sort of during the interview as well. So ahead of applying for jobs, one of the things I talk to people about really is their online presence. So if you imagine, although recruiters and interviewers won't admit to Googling you, of course they do. They want to see what's on there. And, you know, one of your biggest assets online, we talked about LinkedIn, is really your LinkedIn presence. So, you know, before I started my business, when I was sort of moving out of the housing sector, I started changing up my content. So I was posting a lot more sort of thought leadership stuff, sharing, you know, other people's articles, writing articles. And actually, before I'd even launched a business, I had some clients ready to go that, you know, hadn't even mentioned the name of the business. I hadn't even mentioned that I was starting a business, and they'd already seen that change. So, you know, people do really notice. So I would take the time now, before you're applying for jobs, one, to make sure LinkedIn, your job history, matches your CV.
Yes.
I see a lot of times it doesn't match, you know, on the dates, and straight away that's going to sort of pose a question in the minds of your sort of interviewers. But also, you know, thinking about, you know, what does Google say about you? You are what Google says you are. So if someone Googles your name and there's, you know, not massively, either there's not a lot of presence or there's not particularly positive things, you know, that's going to make a difference. But also, you know, your LinkedIn will come up there, and there's certain parts of your LinkedIn profile that are searchable. So make sure you're sort of optimizing by putting those job titles in that people will be looking for, and sort of those keywords basically, and really optimize your profile. And then before the interview, I've been coaching one of my recent clients through some really senior interviews. Yeah. And, you know, we've been talking a lot about sort of quelling those nerves. And, you know, we know that you're extremely passionate, but, you know, those nerves are just inevitable. So do what you need to do before your interview to quell those nerves. So I've always recommended avoiding caffeine, because, you know, with those nerves mixed with caffeine, you're going to get quite jitter. Yeah, the jitters. So think about sort of decaf if you do need that sort of coffee before your interview, and do what works for you, whether that's sort of relaxation breathing, a walk outside. You know, make sure you give yourself plenty of time. You know, most interviews at the moment are still happening online, so, you know, make sure your setup is sort of not going to be interrupted, the dog's not barking. We've had a chat about,
yeah, so we had someone walk through,
coming through the room, and, you know, make sure your lighting is good, that you're sitting facing a window if you don't have any sort of good artificial lights. And also, one of the things I'm very aware of, and you will have the tendency to fiddle. So, I mean, I've got, you know, big earrings on, or, you know, if you've got a necklace on or a tie, or, you know, bangles that make a lot of noise, be aware that you're going to have the propensity to fiddling if you're nervous, to self-soothe. So just be mindful of what you wear. And during the interview, this is not the time for modesty. So, you know, really learn to be your own cheerleader. You know, I hear a lot about people saying, well, I just feel uncomfortable about talking about what I do. And, you know, I don't want to come across really cocky. You know, and I would say the biggest thing that's going to come across is passion. You know, your interviewers know that you're nervous, but, you know, they don't know your background. And also, if it is an internal role, don't just assume that they know what you do. Or even if you're being interviewed by your manager for a different job, you know, don't assume that they know what you do. They have to take what you say in the interview. They can't sort of rely on your previous background. So have that quiet knowledge. And then another great tip, at the end of your questions, think about that self-reflection piece. So, you know, I can describe a great example of where I've worked with the team or sort of led my team. And, you know, at the end of that, it's a great example to say, and you know, thinking back now, if I were to do that project again, or if I was sort of be in that situation again, I would do X, Y, Z differently, or I would have done more of this, or my time, you know, would have judged the timing slightly differently. So, you know, that's a great tip. And finally, think about a killer question or a few killer questions for your interviewer. So I saw someone posting about this, you know, what are some great questions to ask? And one of the things I like to ask the interviewers is, you know, so what's next in the next 6 months for the business, for the department, or, you know, what do you see as your biggest challenge coming up in the next 3 months? So, you know, think of a question that's going to really get them sort of scratching their heads and thinking, wow, or, you know, related to something that's been in the news for the sector. So, you know, think of a few prepped questions before, because they will say, have you got any questions for us? And let's not let that be, how much does this pay, or how much holiday do I have? There's time for that when you get offered the job.
Right, Liz, they are some great tips. Thank you so much. All right, so tell us, what do you have going on at the moment? Do you have any exciting projects, programs, and also how can people get hold of you as well?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, if you want to get hold of me, I'm on LinkedIn. If you just search for Liz Hamlet, it comes up as Liz Hamlet, the Success Spark. So you will know that's me. Nice bright background on the LinkedIn banner. Please do connect, or, you know, drop me a message. Love to have a chat. And I'm also on Instagram as spark.succeed. So that's a business, spark.succeed. So yeah, some of the things I've got going on that are sort of relevant to the audience on sort of job seekers is I have got 2 programs I think particularly relevant. One is my Get Noticed program, which is where I work with job seekers and business owners to really think about their online presence. So what I was saying before, you know, really about making your LinkedIn profile pop, and, you know, how to start getting noticed and sort of getting seen as a thought leader. And, you know, if you're looking to change sector or sort of move into a different role, this is a great opportunity to sort of start commenting, because only 1% of LinkedIn users, and, you know, I can't even remember the number of LinkedIn users, it's multi millions, but only 1% are like you, Dre, like only 1% are doing you know, any sort of content. So whether that's articles,
really? Or only 1%.
So if you're doing any sort of content, you are already ahead of the game. And, you know, also about, if you are posting content, making sure that you're engaging with anyone that comments or likes, you know, your post. That's a potential, you know, audience basically. And the other program I've got is my Return to Work program, which is I work one-on-one, sort of specialise with people that are returners or sort of job seekers moving into a different role, or even people returning from furlough, you know, some sort of career break, you know, sickness, a long-term sickness, maternity leave, to help them sort of get their confidence back up. I find that when we, and I've done this myself, I've had time off for, you know, sick leave in the past, and, you know, your confidence really does take a battering when you're out of work for a while. And I think particularly that's exacerbated at the moment when we're all at home, so you don't have that, you know, interaction. So, you know, I will work with you to get your confidence back and sort of get you ready to go, whether that's returning in your existing job or returning to a new job. And, you know, there's a number of contents available where I'm talking about, if you don't want to look for a job and you're looking to move into starting your own business, one of the areas I specialise in is that leap between employee to entrepreneur. And as you know, Dre, we've all done this, moved from as entrepreneurs, taking that leap. You know, it's quite a different shift in mindset, and also it does take people a lot of time to move. I mean, I don't know about you. How long were you thinking about sort of setting up your own business before?
Honestly, it was probably like a couple of years, and it wasn't until COVID that I was kind of forced into it. And then I was like, right, I'm going to give this a go. And then for the first probably 5 or 6 months, I was trying to work everything out by myself. And it's just so much easier if you've got a coach that's been there, that can show you and guide you. to what you need to do. So I ended up getting a coach, and it just saved me so much time.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I've got working with a client at the moment, and we've got her effectively registered and sort of ready to launch her business alongside a sort of day job, sort of 4 days a week job. But she'd been thinking about it for 10 years, and I think it really took someone to help guide her through the practicalities, but also help you take that leap out of the sort of into the sort of unknown, get into the fear zone basically, and get sort of comfortable with being uncomfortable, because as an entrepreneur there's so much new stuff you're doing. Your own IT department, your own PR, your own video editing.
It's tough.
So, it's a great opportunity to be able to help people. So, and just finally, I wanted to mention that if you're looking for inspiration, either as a job seeker or as a budding entrepreneur or as a business owner, my podcast has just got some amazing guests from all around the globe. So I think there's about 35 episodes now, with more to come soon. And they are business leaders and business owners, and they talk all about their sort of not necessarily linear journey to the top to success, and what success looks like for them, and share some of their success secrets. So you can find it on all major podcast platforms and also on YouTube. So please head over and have a listen. It is free advice for you.
I love that. All right, so Liz, it's about that time to wrap up. Do you have a dad joke for us to finish on?
I do, and it is very themed. It is job seeker and recruitment themed. So I've done my research.
All right.
So, Dre, one for you. Why did the Invisible Man turn down the job offer?
I don't know. Why did the Invisible Man turn down the job offer?
He couldn't see himself doing it.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I know. You did say terrible dad jokes.
Yeah, I did. So yeah, thank you. That was awesome. Like, Liz, I just want to say massive thank you to you. All the value, and it's really exciting what what you've been doing, and the help that you're giving to your clients as well. So I just want to say to the audience, make sure that you connect with Liz either on Instagram or LinkedIn. And she's absolutely brilliant, and check out her podcast as well. So Liz, thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'm now thinking about ice cream after that chat. So I'm going to try and find some in the house.
Thank you. Awesome. That's a wrap.